Alrighty, so today we are going to do more on factoring polynomials. Today we are going to integrate everything that we have learned. So GCF, differences of squares, trinomials when a is equal to 1, and trinomials when a is greater than 1. So we have 18 problems to work with. Okay, so here are our directions. We are going to factor expression A and expression B in each row. Many examples include a GCF. If done correctly, there should be a common binomial factor in each row, and we are going to record that common binomial in the last column. And then we are going to find a mystery number at the end, which I'm not going to do, but you guys can do with your groups. So let's look at A. Okay, notice that you have two terms for number 1. You have an x squared and you have a minus 16. This might lead you to think, hey, this is the differences of two squares. The square root of x squared is an x. The square root of 16 is 4. So you have x plus 4 and x minus 4. Okay. Now, for expression B right here, you have x squared minus 4x minus 32. Okay. So we got to factor. So we got to think factors of negative 32 that will add to negative 4. So what two numbers multiply to negative 32 that will add up to negative 4? Well, we could say negative 8 and positive 4. Once we do that, I'm going to go ahead and probably box this out. So now I have x squared, 4x, negative 8x, negative 32. This is going to give me x. The GCF of x squared negative 8x is x. The GCF of 4x and negative 32 is 4. The GCF of x squared and 4x is going to be x. And then the GCF of negative 8x and negative 32 is negative 8. So this right here is going to give us x plus 4 and x minus 8. Remember to check your work by multiplying back in so that we know that it works. So x times x is x squared. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. 4 times x is 4x. That's very good. We have this right here. And my common binomial is going to be x plus 4 because this right here and this right here are both the same. All right. We're also going to do the same thing for number 2. So x squared plus 2x minus 63. What I'm going to do, of course, is go ahead and factor out this. So two numbers that will multiply to negative 63 that will add up to 2. Well, that's going to give me a positive 9 and a negative 7. 9 minus 7 is 2, and 9 times negative 7 is negative 63, which is going to give me x squared, 9x minus 7x, and then minus 63. The GCF of x squared, negative 7x is x. The GCF of 9 and 9x and negative 63 is 9. The GCF of x squared, 9x is x. And the GCF of negative 7x and negative 63 is negative 7, which tells me that I have x plus 9 and x minus 7. All right, expression B, x squared minus 49. This one, once again, it's a differences of two squares because you have two terms. You have the square root of x squared being x and the square root of 49 being 7. So I have x minus 7 and x plus 7, which means that my common binomial is going to be x minus 7. All right, I'm going to do 5 just because that one kind of looks stressful. For 5 here, remember, always take out a GCF. It has two terms, so you might be thinking, hey, this is the differences of two squares. Well, right now it's not because I have an x3 and I have an x right here. Remember, factor out a GCF. So I'm going to factor out an x, which is going to leave me with x squared minus 64. Well, I know what x squared minus 64 is because that's the differences of two squares. X plus 8, x minus 8. Because the square root of 64 is 8. So you have x plus 8, and x minus 8 for number 5a. Now for 5b, once again, always look for a GCF. Don't multiply 2 and 144 because that's going to give you a very big number. Instead, take out the GCF of 2, x squared plus x minus 72, because 144 divided by 2 is 72. Okay, now think, what two numbers will multiply to negative 72 and will add up to positive 1? Well, that's going to give us a positive 9 and a negative 8. So now I have a positive 9 and a negative 8 and a negative 72. Notice how I have a negative 72 right here instead of a negative 144. So you always want to use your GCF, the simplified form, first. All right, I am going to find the GCF of each column in each row. This is going to give me x right here. This right here is going to give me 9. This right here is going to give me x. And this right here is going to give me negative 8. Once again, always check your work. Multiply this out if you need to see that it works, okay? So now your simplified factored form for this one right here is going to be x plus 9 and x minus 8. But remember to not forget about that 2 that you had at the very beginning where we factored that out. So we have 2 times x plus 9, x minus 8. And we have an x minus 8 right here, which tells me that x minus 8 is my common binomial. All right, so you have 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and whatever the mystery code is for this activity here. There is also a version 6 where a is greater than 1. So something like number 4 right here where you have to multiply by a and c. So you will also do that one too. All right. That being said, have a good spring break, but make sure that you do this before you leave.